Ayo everyone, and welcome to a brand new series on SBA that I'd like to call Secrets Unleashed. This is where I'll be sharing some information that isn't exactly well known to newer players or to not as experienced players, and I hope that this will be helpful for you guys. Also, today's video is going to be about toss dunk. Let's get into it. Alright, so we'll talk about this replay right here. So firstly, we'll talk about timing for Conan. And honestly, timing for Conan is not that important, okay? It's not going to be the most important thing that you need to keep on your mind. But there is one thing that I should say. The most important thing, including timing, is just try not to jump too early. That is about it. That is really all you need to know about Conan. Try not to jump too early. It's the same with Edward as well. I will talk about him some more later. But for timing, it's just try not to jump too early. Jumping later is better than jumping early, okay? So just try not to jump too early. That's it. That's the only real thing you need to know about timing. Alright, so let's talk about Conan's or the positioning that you need for Conan. And for Conan, what you're gonna need without screen is to just stay in front of him. Just in front of him, not to the side, not even a little bit. If he doesn't have a screen, go closer to him. You can't actually block him from afar. You're gonna need to be at least a meter, just only a meter apart, okay? You cannot be a meter or 2 meters away from him. You can't be 1.5 meters away from him. No, you need to be a meter away from him and to be in front of him. That's it. That is all you need to do. Be in front of him. Make sure that you're at least a meter in front of Conan. Time your block. Just don't jump too early and you will be all good. Now, what about screening? That's where toss dunk really gets, hard to stop. It's when the big actually screens Conan. Well, on that time, what you're gonna want to do is to actually still stay in front of Conan, but move to the side a little bit. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that you need to actually go to the side just a little bit. It is what it is. So if Conan toss dunks to the left, you go stay still in front of Conan, but move a little bit to the left. Just like this. You will have to go to the left a little bit, but still mostly in front of Conan. That's the same if you actually, or if Conan also toss dunks to the right. You just go stay in front of Conan and go to the right a little bit. What you're gonna want to do then is to move a little bit towards Conan, trying your best to avoid the big. And again, just jump and try not to jump too early. Just time your block. What's really important is the positioning, okay? That's what you're gonna want. So again, what you're gonna want if you are getting screened is to just try to stick closer to the big, stay in front of Conan, but then move a little bit to the side. And once Conan activates his toss dunk, move a little bit towards Conan and then actually go for the block. You don't want to be to the side too much. You'll want to mostly still be in front of the big and Conan. Now, let's talk about Edward this time. So with Edward, it is actually different from Conan. So, about timing, it's actually the same. It isn't really that important, but just like earlier from Conan, my one tip for you is to just try not to jump too early. And actually, this is a little bit more important when you're actually facing against Edward. He is more sensitive when it comes to actually the timing. Again though, it's not that important. Just try not to jump too early and you should be all good. So with Edward, what's really important as well is positioning. With Edward, you actually don't want to be in front of him. You don't want to be in front of Edward when you're blocking his toss down. Unless you're really close to Edward, you are gonna go through Edward, or Edward's gonna go through you. You are not gonna be able to block him from afar. Even if you are about a meter away from Edward, he's just gonna go through you. You need to be face to face with him to actually block him in front. You might be asking, where should you position yourself then? Well, it's actually to the side. If for Conan, you want to be mostly in front and only a little bit to the side, Edward, you want to be on the side a lot, fully on the side, and just a little bit in front of Edward. So stick close to Edward, but go to the side. So if he tosses down to the right, you need to stick to Edward, but stay mostly on the side. Stick to Edward, but you're mostly on the right if he tosses down to the right, and if to the left, it's vice versa. If he tosses down to the left, you need to stay very close to Edward, but mostly to the left. Okay? So that means if there is a big that's actually like screening Edward, where you're gonna want to position yourself is on the right side if he goes to the right, or on the left side if he goes to the left. You're gonna want to stay mostly to the side if you are actually defending Edward, okay? You are going to want to stay on his side, so that means if you are getting screened by a big, it's better to actually stay on the side of Edward on where he's actually using the toss down. You're gonna have better results than if you were to stay behind. So, to recap, both Conan and Edward, timing is not that important. Just make sure you don't jump early. Time your jumps and don't jump early and you should be all good. For Conan, you're gonna want to stay mostly on the middle and in front of him, and only a little bit to the side if there's a big screening. And for Edward, if there's a big screening, you're gonna want to stay mostly on the side and only a little bit to the forward of Edward, and just stay close to him. Alright? So that's all you really need to know. That's where they differentiate in positioning. Conan is more blockable from the front, and Edward is more blockable from the side. So anyway guys, that's it for this video. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.